Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be answering all of your questions about your hair and makeup run up to your wedding and on your wedding day. So if you have any questions about trials, about what you should do running up to the wedding day, the timetable for your wedding day, things like that, it's all going to be answered here in this video. So keep watching and don't forget about my freebie guide, which you can grab below, and this will give you all the details about how to get your skin ready for your wedding day. See you guys in a sec. So one of the questions I get asked for quite a lot is how much time should you leave for hair and makeup? This completely depends on each individual hair and makeup artist, but the rule of thumb is if you're having the same hair and makeup artist do both, then I'd probably say 2 hours for the bride at least. But some people like more time, some people like less. This also just does help if you sort of include times for, like, there's a lot of questions that are asked to the bride on the wedding morning, so I like to leave that little bit of leeway time as well, because obviously the bride's asking questions. You're not going to carry on sort of doing her hair and makeup. You can, but sometimes it's not always possible, so it just gives that little bit more time as well. So it necessarily doesn't take 2 hours to do hair and makeup, but you leave that leeway of time, just then you're not rushing. For the bridesmaids, normally it's around 45 minutes for hair, 45 minutes for makeup. Sometimes this can be less if the same person is doing both jobs. But yeah, it just varies on individuals. So always ask your hair and makeup artist how long that they like, and they'll probably do you a schedule after the trial when they get to know you a bit more, know your sort of your desires of what you're going to need for your hair and makeup, how long it's going to take, and then you can chat about your bridesmaids as well. So I'm having a call tonight, and a few people have already asked me some upfront questions they want me to answer. And one of those is, how can we tell if a hair and makeup artist is any good when you have so many apps nowadays like Facetune that can erase things from the skin, make the skin look smoother? I mean, you've got Photoshop, editing, stuff like that, filters. That's a very tricky question to answer. Unfortunately, there's no way of knowing, even if they're like the most skilled person, you just don't know if they have done that. The best thing to do is get to know your stylist, call them before you make the booking, get to know them, see if you have a connection with them. I'd say that's a very, very key point. That's really strong that you connect with the person you're going to spend your wedding morning with. That really needs to be a good connection between you two. And also having a trial. A trial is really important. A lot of people, not a lot of people, some people don't budget for a trial. Some people don't think a trial is necessary, but a trial to me is really necessary because of I get to know you face to face. I get to know what your skin is like, your hair is like, if we need anything else for your wedding morning. If you decide to change your mind about something, you have that time. If you need to get a hair accessory in between the trial and the wedding day, or something doesn't go and you've brought a hair accessory with you and you think, actually, this doesn't go, then you've got time to sort of swap those or deal with those, get other things. So I think a trial is really key to how you'd like to look for your wedding day. You've put in so much effort with everything else, and you need to feel confident and happy with how you look. Having facials, I'd say at least 2 weeks up to the run-in of your wedding day, unless you're used to having facials all the time and you literally have them week in, week out, then that's fine. If you're not used to having facials or doing an exfoliator on your skin, then I would not recommend this 2 weeks before your wedding day. I actually really wouldn't recommend it a month before your wedding day. You can have facials beforehand, running up to the wedding and stuff like that, like 6 months prior to the wedding. But if your skin's not used to a facial, then it's gonna come out possibly with blemishes. Remember, a facial cleans all the pores out, gets all the dead skin cells out, all the dirt, all the impurities, and it brings all those new skin cells to life. But in the process of this, it might bring out blemishes, and that's why you don't want it too close to your wedding day. So another one of the questions that I've got on the call tonight is, the last month or so, my skin has had a few breakouts. I'm not sure if it's because of the stressful situation we're in, which by the way is lockdown right now. As I haven't changed any products I use, if there's anything I should do to prevent this happening in the lead up to the wedding when I'm likely to get a bit stressed. A bit of a difficult question because the stress does kind of come with the job of organising a wedding, unfortunately. As much as I'd like to say it doesn't, it can be very stressful. And having this lockdown has not helped things. But if we didn't have that, besides that, trying to help your skin with breakouts before the wedding day, I'd love to make your stress go away. Obviously, I cannot. I hope you don't get stressed. There's other things that you can do to unwind your body. So you can take some time out for yourself, whether that means a regular facial massage. Obviously, if it's facial, don't do a month before, but facial and massage, have a bubble bath with essential oils, do some yoga, meditate, drink less caffeine. There's other forms of energized drinks and food that you can eat to get your body that pump that it needs, not necessarily from caffeine. The other thing is drink more water. That is key. Drink more water. This will be your best friend for your skin. It's so important. So cheers to that. It is refreshing. Also, if you want to go down a sort of cosmetic procedure, you could do microdermabrasion, which basically just removes any impurities or dead skin cells from the skin, which will get rid of any sort of blemishes that could possibly arise on the skin, getting ready for new skin cells to come out. That could also help with your skin, but again, I advise doing this not too close to your wedding day. A question I get asked for quite a lot is there a good pre-wedding routine that I would recommend? Which is yes. I've actually been asked for this so many times that I decided to create an ebook, a really small freebie guide ebook on this, where it will answer all of your questions in just a couple of pages of what products that you should use, what you should do as the run up to your wedding day. So if you guys want that guide, it's free. I'll link it below in the description. So all you gotta do is click on there and I'll send that through to you guys. So another question that a lot of people are more concerned about is, I do get a lot of brides that say that they don't wear much makeup. Now this can completely, change from person to person, depending how natural they like their makeup or how much they wear compared. Like I could think of very natural makeup would be a BB cream, a tiny bit of concealer, some mascara, and a bit of bronzer. Whereas it might be a full face of foundation for you. It really varies from person to person. So you really have to get to know that person to find out exactly what they wear, what they find is natural. So someone has asked me that they normally just wear eyeliner and mascara, and they don't normally wear foundation, not necessarily because they don't like it, but because they can't find their actual shade, and they've had trouble in the past. So is it a good idea to wear makeup running up to the wedding so they get used to it? You can do this. You can buy some products after your trial, see how you feel with the products that they use. If you like them, you can use them afterwards. Obviously, you can go buy them. But that honestly is completely up to you. I actually stopped wearing a lot of makeup up to my wedding day because I wanted more of a surprise look and to make myself feel and look even better on my wedding day. So that was just my preference. But then because I do wear makeup quite a lot, I know that made a massive difference. So if you're not used to wearing it and you'd like to become a little bit more comfortable with it, especially for your wedding day, then that's definitely not a bad shout. So if you're having facial waxing, I do get asked a lot like when you should have this done. And my answer would be at least not 2 to 3 days 2 to 3 days minimum before your wedding day. But also that's only if you've had it done before and by that person. This is hard because if you've never had waxing, then I would go and have a trial before your wedding week. Make sure you're happy with that person who's doing it as well. I had a horrific bride, basically, that she went for a waxing that she wasn't used to the person who did it, and they had the wax too hot and they burnt her eyelid. Oh, it was horrible. I mean, luckily it healed a tiny bit before the wedding day, but it was only a couple of days before, so it was still a fresh wound. So you don't want that. That is something you do not want on your wedding day. So go find someone you're really comfortable with. And if you've got that person, 2 to 3 days minimum. If you don't, I'd say 1 to 2 weeks at least. So this question I do get quite a lot is, when should you colour your hair before the wedding day? Now, obviously this completely depends on you again, which I know doesn't make it easier, but if you have a normal sort of hair growing rate and it's not super quick, then I would say at least 1 to 2 weeks before your wedding, so you can get a couple of washes in, because it will soften that hair dye and make it look a little bit more natural. But if your hair does grow a bit faster, or there's something that is different about your hair, basically just ask your hairstylist, your hair colorist, exactly when they recommend, because they know your hair the best. Obviously apart from you, but they know how long it would take for their colors to soften, especially different color dyes that they use or different brands. So I would ask them personally. When should you wash your hair before your wedding? Personally, I prefer it the night before, and that counts for everyone. That's the bride, bridesmaids. Unless you're having a blow dry on the wedding morning and your stylist has specifically said, I would say wash your hair the night before. If you wash your hair on the morning, it's just too slippy unless you're using products to make that slippiness go away. If I was to blow dry someone's hair, I would use mousse. So if you are adamant about blow drying your hair, or washing your hair, sorry. So if you are adamant about washing your hair on the wedding morning, or one of your bridesmaids wants to, then get them to put a little bit of mousse in their hair when they dry it. And this just makes a huge difference for our job, because it will make the hair stay in place a lot longer, especially if you're having a down style with curls, like a half up, half down, or all down. How long will the trial last? Again, this is a question I get asked for quite a lot. It really varies on the sort of look that you want to go for on the trial. Depends how advanced the hair is that you'd like, whether it's just a down style or half up, half down. We need to prep the hair and things like that. So it's really hard to say, but again, rule of thumb is, if it's a hair and makeup trial for just the bride, 2.5 hours maybe. If it's just makeup, just hair, an hour and a half. But yeah, it really does depend on your stylist, if I'm honest. So you've just got to see with them, and they'll probably give you a rough timeline, but again, it's rough until they get to know you. With a timetable, I normally send these out once we've done the trial, because I get to know you and know your type of hair, know your skin, know what type of style hair and makeup that you like, and that gives me a really good idea on timing wise. I can speak to you about your bridesmaids or what their sort of styles they'd like, your mother of the bride, mother of the groom, your nan. It gives me a really good understanding of what they like, what they want. I can do a tailored timetable for you. Some people might send these out before, but I would definitely take it more as like an approximate guide times. Also, I normally get everyone ready an hour before the ceremony, or an hour before you leave from wherever you are. So if you're not getting ready on site, I'd like to get you ready an hour before, so you have some time if things run over, you have some time if people are running late, you have some time to get into your dresses, have some champagne, have some photos. It's unbelievable how quickly that last hour goes. So having that time, I promise you, will be a blessing in disguise. How long before your wedding day, shoot, this is loud, I'll get this out first. some lashes. How long before your wedding day should you have a trial? Now, good question. So this completely varies again, depending on your artist. Some artists only do some artists only do weekends for trials certain times of the year. For instance, their quieter periods like January to March, and then back in the autumn, sort of winter time. Some artists will still do weekend trials. It just depends who you get, basically. So worth asking your stylist. I normally recommend doing a trial 2 to 3 months before your wedding day at least. This gives you time if you need to change things, like if you need to get your hair dyed. It also normally coincides with your second to last colour before your wedding day. So you'd have your hair dyed for the trial, and then you'd have your hair dyed again ready for the wedding day. So you get like the full final look. So I normally recommend 2 to 3 months, but this isn't always doable. And you know what is absolutely fine if it's 6 months before. I mean, I've done trials 18 months before a wedding day, so it really does vary. And obviously this year, because obviously a lot of weddings have been postponed, I would have done their trial a long time before their wedding's actually going to be. So it's absolutely fine if you do it far in advance. And also, if it's something that you're concerned about and just want to get ticked off your list because you want to know how exactly you're going to look, then that's also fine to get that done and just get it over with, get it ticked off your list. I would recommend doing it after you've found a wedding dress, and preferably to know if you're having a veil or any hair accessories. But again, for instance, on my trials, I like to have hair accessories with me. So if you don't have any, you can trial some and just see if you'd like any for your wedding day. And if you don't, that's absolutely fine, but at least you've tried. Also, I really like to know about like your color scheme. So if you've got your bridal dresses, like your bridesmaids, if you've chosen your florist, things like that. I basically try and get as much, I try and get as much detail off you as I can, because trying to get my words out. I get to know you a lot better, and that makes my life a lot easier, because then I can understand how you like to feel, how you like to look. I really get to understand the person behind the face. It's hard as a makeup artist and a hairstylist to know you and know your style very quickly. So the more we know about you, the easier our job is and the happier you are. So it works in both favors. Now, I think that's answered most of the questions, that I have tonight, and hopefully what you had, what questions in mind and stuff like that. And you know what, if you guys have any more questions, please don't forget, I'm still here to answer them. I cannot get that lash right. Guys, if I haven't answered any of the questions that you have, please write them in the box below in the comments. I will answer them. I will get back to you. And also, I love hearing about different questions that people have, not necessarily that I've thought of or that I would naturally ask myself. It's quite interesting to see what people come up with. So yeah, if you have any questions, please write them below. And don't forget, go grab your freebie guide. The call that I'm doing tonight is with Lauren from Bluebird Bride Academy. And if you haven't checked out her YouTube channel, it's honestly amazing. It helps brides organize their wedding. So if you've never had a wedding before, if you've never organized a wedding before, where do you start? So go hop over to her page. I'll leave her description and link below. So if you want to see videos on, I don't know, how to pick a venue, how to pick a menu, how to pick a stationer. There's so many things that she knows that she explains to you in dummy format. She takes you guide by guide, step by step through the whole wedding process. And that's who I have a call with tonight. And I'm going to talk to all of her Bluebird Bride Academy members on exactly how to prep their skin for their wedding day. So I'm excited to get on the call in about 15 minutes and answer everyone's questions. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope I answered all of your questions. And as I said, if I didn't, please write them below and I will get back to you. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell. It will alert you when any of my new videos come out every Thursday, and I'll see you on the next video.